What's up, everybody? We're Morbid Curiosities, your favorite horror movie podcast, and we're back with another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Nicholas Ewers, and with me is the lightweight champion of the world, the morbid mistress of mayhem herself.
Mercedes Martinez. How are you doing tonight, Nicholas?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, the pressure feels on right now. The listeners aren't going to hear any of that, but I flubbed the intro a bunch today, and I'm not even too confident in the intro I'm going to be turning into these people.
It's
But
okay. They don't need to know that. They just know that we push out these really cool intros. So it's okay. It's okay.
this is a full disclosure podcast. I'm like an open book to our listeners. I can't help myself.
I mean, that's a good thing, but then you try to throw me under the bus, throw me to the wolves out there. Like, we can't always be an open book to everybody.
Yeah, I have occasionally, put put you out there, probably made you a little uncomfortable, and I apologize for that. But
No, it's all good.
but that's in the past, man. This is a new episode, for any
True.
new listeners, we're covering Final Destination 5. Don't go back and listen to our old episodes to check and see if I've put Mercedes business out there or not. But listen to them for the fun movie talk, though. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. Right, Mercedes? Can we agree on that?
We'll agree on that because I have nothing clever to say back to that. Anything witty just flew out the window. So bravo to you on that. Yeah, everyone just stay tuned to what we got going on today for Nick's favorite movie, Final Destination 5.
My favorite movie. Have I said that on the podcast before?
Yes, multiple times you have given this movie praise and I have no fucking idea why.
Oh wow. Rightfully so too. Man, this is the most torn season I think we've had so far. So spoilers ahead for Final Destination 5. So you don't like this one, I'm guessing?
Oh my god, I fucking hate it. Like I thought I did not like Final Destination 4. Also, guys, I'm sorry if I sound horrible. I got sick once again. My immune system has just been trashed this year. But yeah, I really thought I didn't like Final Shut up. I thought I didn't like Final Destination 4. I'm I don't know which one I hate more, that one or this one or not. Blah. What is it? The Final Destination? That one was horrific to watch. This one, it was just overreaching. Like I could see some of the scenes where they were trying to poke at, legit fears, like, when people go to the eye doctor or even crossing a bridge. Like, yeah, people have those fears. Like I even get a little apprehensive going over fear bridges. But with these, it just seems like we were just at a point where it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, these deaths are so ridiculous. It made the movie tank so bad.
Okay. I'm gonna this is gonna be a fun episode. I can feel it. It's in the air right now.
Yeah.
To that I have to say Final Destination 5, more like Final Destination 3.5 star movie. Am I right?
Mhm. Yes, definitely, definitely right. I would even say 2.5 stars.
I feel like, yeah, 2.5 stars or 2 stars sounds about like where you're sitting. 3.5 stars, maybe even like four. I don't know. I I don't want to spoil my ranking, but this one I think is going to be higher up there for me on the Final Destination list. Aside from the Final Destination, which was the previous entry, the fourth one, I feel like these movies have been getting better as they've been coming out. I had a blast with this one. I saw it a couple months ago with my girlfriend, and I remember thinking "Oh my god, the kills in this one are super clever." I was really wrapped into this one, and then like I had said before in previous episodes, we watched these movies in reverse order. So then we watched the Final Destination next, and I was like, "Oh shit, this movie has some lows." But luckily, that's, like, as low as they get, and we're past that. Like I said, we're not living in the past anymore. But but this one, I just thought was, the strongest so far. Maybe not in the character department. A lot of the characters are just, like, archetypes, but I feel like they do subvert some of the archetypes a little bit. I just think for the most part, all of the like death sequences in this movie are the most well thought out and most well executed. The tension that I felt throughout all of them was great. Watching it a couple months ago and watching it for this podcast, I both times I felt tense, and then when the actual violence would kick in, I was squirming in my seat and felt really uncomfortable. And so I found this one to be pretty effective, like throughout. We'll get more into the characters and what I thought about them, but when it comes to the kill department and what this franchise does, this one works the most for me. I found this one to be the most thrilling and like pulse pounding.
Damn, did we watch the same movie? Because
it
I
it
do
doesn't
not
seem
agree on
like it.
any of that. Oh my god. So we are going to be battling it out in this one, and I am for it because yeah, there were just like so many things I felt went wrong in here. And to me, right now, it's pretty tied with the Final Destination. So yeah, I'll
Oh
get
wow.
more into it. Yeah, I'll get more into it, like, as we go through. Spoilers ahead, guys, for Final Destination 5. Start us off, Nick, on your great love for this film because I did not expect that.
Love is a strong word, but I do quite enjoy this one. I will say, like, this whole season is just completely backwards from what I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I've said this on another episode, but going into this, I was like, okay, this is the season for Mercedes, I think. Like, she's really going to love these movies. I think these movies are her jam. I'm not too sure. And I'm just going to try not to be too critical of them, and it's totally the opposite. I'm trying not to overpraise because I understand these are kind of on the trashier side of horror and they're not really that scary to begin with. But yeah, I didn't think you would dislike most of them, and I would be having the time of my life going through each one.
It's funny because there are quite a few people that I have talked to who they're like, "Oh, I haven't seen all the Final Destination movies," or "I don't really care for them." But I was defending them like, "Oh, yeah, 1 and 3 are great," or like, blah, blah, blah. I even like 2. And that was also before I had rewatched them for the podcast. And now that I have done that, man, I feel like I'm eating my words on this franchise because.
you, you lied to the people.
I guess I did. I'm so sorry to anyone who I have misled on this. I have learned my lesson going forward. Guys, if you hear any weird sound effects in the background, that's Evie, our mascot. She is tearing apart her tiny rope here and wreaking havoc everywhere as usual. But yeah, she's not a fan of these films either.
Evie, the subtle hero of our podcast.
I
But
know. She's the reason everyone comes here.
so do you think you're just not gonna recommend these movies to people? Like, if they ask you, they're like, "Hey, Mercedes, the morbid mistress of mayhem, you run a horror podcast. What do you think about the Final Destinations?" Are you gonna say, "Nope, they all suck," except I guess we have to see what you think about Bloodlines. But, you know,
I'm gonna say watch 1, watch 3, watch Bloodlines. Don't waste your time on the other ones.
and then I'll be right there in the background to be like, "And also watch Final Destination 2 and 5." Ooh, I'm dead in this scenario. I'm haunting you
Your
guys.
death in here.
I am. Yeah, death got me. I didn't have a premonition, and I wasn't so lucky. But yeah, this is just, aside from Scream, maybe Scream will be the outlier, but the fifth entry into these horror movies, into these horror series, Seed of Chucky and Final Destination 5, that's where we really end up torn. I guess maybe Scream 5, maybe I was more negative on that one than you were. I'm not too sure, I don't remember.
I
But
think so.
without further ado, I'm going to start off with the opening credits. Right when I put this one on, I was like, these opening credits so refreshing after just how bad the Final Destination was. Final Destination 4, if you're unfamiliar. But just the opening credits alone were better than anything that movie had to offer. And I was so happy to be watching just stuff fly through glass and wonder, how did they film this? it it was just exciting in and of itself. But then, so basically, like, without dicking around even more, we're on a bridge, or no, it's basically this company is going on a retreat. We get introduced to our main characters, Sam and Molly. They're having some relationship trouble. Peter, he's their boss, but he's not the head honcho. Their other head honcho is Dennis. I forgot the actor's name, but he's one of the anchormen, the titular anchormen. He's also in the movie The Comebacks and a lot of other comedies. Then there's this guy, Nathan. He's in charge of the warehouse, and this girl, Olivia, she's just pretty much there to be hot, I think, and I was totally cool with it. She worked for me as a
Of course
character.
she did. Of course she
I
did.
thought she was totally fleshed out as a character, fully realized. And then an intern, I think her name is Candace. I'm not too sure. She doesn't stick around that long, so we don't have to really bother getting too comfortable with her name. They all end up on basically a bus that's going over a bridge. And right then and there, I was like bought in. I was like, okay, unlike the other one, which took place at like a NASCAR event in like Indianapolis or wherever the fuck, this is believable. I mean, we live in an area where there's plenty of bridges. I go over the Joliet Bridge and I'm like, when is this thing going to collapse and fall into whatever is below it? Some sea monster's gonna eat it or eat us or whatever. Yeah, so immediately I'm tense. I mean, did you find the bridge tense, the bridge being under construction, there just being a fucking hole without like a net or something to make sure these employees don't fall through?
Yeah, so for the opening scene, I was thinking, okay, that's a good fear to play off of. We live near Chicago. There's so many bridges out there, and I I remember just specifically like side tangent randomly. I developed a fear early on of bridges because my dad would take me, my mom, my older siblings to go bike riding downtown. Like we would go bike riding all the way down to Navy Pier. So we would have to cross a few bridges. And every time we did, I would look down in like all the little holes and I'm like, fuck, this thing could fall. Like, and I could just fall in this water and die. But also, I was freaked out so much because there were always a million and one spiders in like the railings there too. So I'm trying to focus on riding just like to make sure my path is straight and not fucking fall into traffic because of these spiders and then not focus on falling in the water because I thought we were all gonna die. And anytime now I even approach a bridge, I have that same exact mentality. And then you feel like the bridge shake. I am not for that. So seeing this, I was like, all right, I could buy into it.
You gave me a bit of an anxiety attack telling that story. I was just imagining myself in your shoes. I was like, nope, I will not do what you're describing right now.
It was bad, and we would do that quite frequently. So, because I am so afraid of spiders, that was my main focus. Like, oh my God, look at how big those are. Like, I don't want to touch it. And not really thinking, like, your dumbass is probably going to fall over and get hit by a million cars. And I'm over here worried about falling in the water and then some spiders. So, seeing this, where they have that random hole in the road, it's like, what the fuck? That wouldn't happen. At least I don't think it would happen. And I don't know though, because the way they were like kind of giving off these characters seeing all the signs, like, all feeling uneasy, it didn't feel as how they did before in the first 3 movies, like, I don't know, it could be the lighting that they used for filming, but in this one, everything just looked like same lighting and everything. There was not really an uneasy feel, so that part didn't convince me, but yeah, I was a little anxious to see how this bridge scene was gonna collapse.
Yeah, the lighting, the look to this movie, it's very crisp. It's got a very digital look. It almost looks like how Netflix designs their movies and TV shows. They design it so it'll look good playing on like your phone or the shittiest screen you could watch it on. So and this almost has that look where you'll be able to watch it on like a shitty tiny cracked phone screen or something and be able to tell what's happening. The looks of, I mean, none of these movies really have that much of a visual identity, so the look of this one doesn't bother me too much. In regard to the bridge sequence itself, I don't know if they actually cut out squares like that on the bridge. I feel like that has to actually be something because I mean, I've seen those metal plates on roads, so maybe there is something to that, but the whole bridge collapsing, coming apart itself, I know I said this on the last episode that like going bigger is kind of the wrong instinct. And I think this movie has examples of both how going bigger can work and going smaller can work. Like I think all of the action and craziness from the bridge sequence like is pretty thrilling. Like the Olivia when she falls into the water and the car like lands on her. Was trying to put myself in her shoes. I was like, I'd probably die. I don't know, like if I'd be like up and swimming. I like that sucks. And people like being impaled. I mean, the 3D element totally doesn't work, but I really enjoyed how like big and chaotic it felt like a disaster movie in a way I like this franchise doesn't always go. I guess an airplane crash is a disaster. I promise I'm gonna stop talking in a second. But I'm excited to get into the smaller deaths too, but like going big for this scene like really worked for me, but like the disaster element, like did you not enjoy that?
I mean, I thought I would enjoy it more. And I guess maybe it could just be because when I was going into this film, I'm like, okay, this film is probably going to suck. And just seeing the initial death with the intern Candace, she fell off the bridge and then onto like the pole of the little sailboat. It's like, all right, we're in one of those films again. That's great. And then I was just trying to like clock each other death in here. You know, the guy who was always on his phone or just trying to hit on like all these women, he was still on the bus. And when the bus is like falling in the water, he, that whole scene, he like fell, I think, on the windshield and then died upon impact of hitting the water. That was even stupid. Yeah, so it's like, okay, I don't anticipate seeing anything else that might redeem it itself here.
That part, and it's not as good as the sequence in the movie I'm about to mention, so I'm not trying to offend, but it reminded me a bit of Jurassic Park 2, and because of The Lost World, I'm a sucker for a bus falling and someone being in a bus or a train or something. Like Mission Impossible Dead
Mhm,
Reckoning Part
mhm.
1 has an awesome train sequence. I'll have to send you Mercedes, but it's like anything with like a bus or a trailer because of The Lost World. It kind of works for me, but it reminded me of that a little bit.
You know, that's a good reference point because I didn't even think of that, and that is the only reason why I will watch Jurassic Park: The Lost World because that scene when I saw it on TV, I think that was the part that I initially saw for that movie when it was playing, and it freaked me the fuck out. I was just like, that's where my anxiety was on 1,000, and I could actually believe that scene. This one, nope.
This scene was pretty over the top, but I found it, I mean, especially in the shadow of the final destination, this intro worked for me, but I mean, I'd say this is like in the top 2 of the series for me. Maybe like in Bloodlines, after we rank the movies, we can maybe rank like Premonitions, which we think are the best. But
Okay.
this and number 2 are my 2 favorite Premonitions so far.
Now that we're gonna rank premonitions too, I'm damn, that just opened up a whole new window for me. Okay, cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I feel like that'll really give us a chance to maybe like have more freedom with our official ranking of the series because that's what's tossing me up. I'm like, "Oh, I want to put this here, but this one's intro is so good." But if we rank the premonitions separately from and then have our own series ranking, I think that would make everything a whole lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all for it.
Yeah, but so basically, unless you wanted to, do you want to go over any more of the bridge kills, or are you cool with hopping forward in the movie?
Let's hop forward. This movie is. Let's hop forward. Let me not trash the movie yet.
I think we'll fly through it. I mean, we're gonna another case of this movie doing something the best so far in the series. I think this has the best use of Tony Todd. He pops up in the next scene. He's at the funeral. He's kind of all over this movie. You agree? You think it's the best use of him?
Yeah, because you get to see him more, and he actually has more lines in here. So I was all for that. Like you can't ever really get enough of Tony Todd. But I think it was just interesting to have him not necessarily speak in riddles in here compared to how he always does.
Yeah.
He actually This is something that confused me. Like, so towards the end, when the character Sam goes up to him and is just like, "Oh, why are you following me?" And they see he's the coroner, and he starts talking to them. He says, they all weren't supposed to live; they were supposed to die. So the people that did die in place of them, they technically got their lives and their years to live. And it's like, but wait a minute, those people technically weren't meant to die. So if they were meant to die based on death's design, does that mean those people that died in place of these people were meant to die in freak accidents like these people are? If any of that makes sense, it confused me.
No, I know what you mean. I got hung up on that line too, and I thought exactly. I thought he was saying exactly what you're saying, but like later in the movie, like within the context of everything, I was like, oh, was he telling them in order to get out of death's design, you have to kill somebody and then you take their place and get their remaining years? I feel like maybe he was saying that and I just interpreted it wrong. But I think that was him trying to convey the information so that Peter would get it. You have to kill somebody, which also sets up the later scene of Nathan accidentally killing the his coworker. Do you know what I mean?
I can kind of understand that. I'm trying to relate it back to, part 2 where he's saying, new life can defeat death or whatever. So that had Kimberly kill herself, and then, that essentially just like wiped the slate clean with everything. I don't know. It still confuses me.
Yeah, also, how does Tony Todd know that you have to kill if you kill somebody, you take their place and you get their remaining years? I kind of have a little bit of a theory on that, which I think I'm just gonna save for the Bloodlines episode because I have a whole idea for what I think Final Destination 7 could be, and I hope I remember to bring up what's in my head right now, but I don't wanna, like, spoil Bloodlines and go down a whole Bloodline spoiler just yet since we're so early in the movie.
No, that's cool. And I feel like I'm gonna go on so many side tangents, and I'm sorry, but it's because just how Tony Todd appears in all of these majority of all these films, and he just has something to say, but he has a little bit more of a part to play in this one. I just started remembering the movie Tales from the Hood. Have you seen Tales from the Hood?
I have not.
Oh my god, we are gonna have to cover that for this. So it's kind of
I'm
yeah, it's like an anthology, and the beginning, like spoilers free, these three guys, they are trying to, conduct a drug deal at a funeral home, and Clarence Williams III, he plays the mortician there, and he is so fucking creepy throughout the entire film, like, just him smiling is fucking oh my god, just, like, hard to watch once he appears on screen, and he just talks them through each and every story based on all the deceased, victims he has in the funeral home, but I don't know, I was kinda getting a little bit of that vibe from Tony Todd in this one, probably because I just watched Tales from the Hood the other night, but yeah, it's kinda the same thing. Definitely you should check it out.
I will definitely check it out, especially with Halloween coming up. I'm ready to get into just like a watch horror movies every day kind of mindset. And I've been trying to check out new horror movies while I've been doing that. So, especially if you give me a reminder, I'll put that one on the list. Maybe while listening to this, that'll be a good reminder too.
Dope, dope.
But yeah, I we already said this. I think this is the best use of Tony Todd, and we'll get into him more throughout the rest of this episode and the next one. But then we're on to the gymnastics scene where it's fucking what's it called? Peter and the intern that he's hooking up with. And this is what I was gonna say, where I mean, like, the movie going smaller really works. It's just like focusing on a screw this whole time and like a little bit of water that's trickling because we all know death loves water. There's a couple fucking ways he uses a cup of water or water and like water trickling somewhere. Yeah, I love the focus on the screw and just wondering what's gonna happen. I was, again, tense the whole time. Gymnastics is just inherently scary to me. The idea of like land wrong and you fucked up your leg, and this chick ends up getting like folded in a way she shouldn't get folded and split in half, and it's all disgusting just because a different gymnast lands on the screw and throws everything off. I mean, I thought the sequence was great. It was a favorite of mine in the franchise, I'd say. It was absolutely horrifying and tense.
When the scene was building up, I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it, so, thinking, "Okay, we're gonna be following some gymnasts that can obviously make some people cringe because like I never really paid attention to, that sport before. But yeah, once they were focusing on like their hands, their feet, just like even hearing the impact of them just like landing whatever move they were trying to hit, I was getting a little anxious, and then, yeah, that one singular screw that's coming loose, it's like, "Fuck, what's gonna happen?" And then, yeah, with the water just, like, dripping down, you would think one of these scenes would have someone, like, choke on water. You know how when you drink something and, like, it
Yeah.
goes down, like, the wrong pipe?
Yeah. Just for like a second though, or like they
Yeah,
really drag it out and you're like, "Oh my god, is this how he's gonna die?"
I know, right? Something
Yeah.
so basic like that, but yeah, so seeing her, and I actually felt a little bad, she was nervous, she's kind of freaking out, and her boss, whatever, who I didn't like, honestly. I thought he was a dick trying to just say like, "Oh, we have to, be professional, but you can still come to my room so we can hook up later." She wasn't phased by it. At least when they went to, like, the, funeral service that they had for everyone who had passed away, like, he was, like, showing that they were together. He had like his arm around her. So that kind of redeemed himself for me. But here, he's trying to just tell her, like, it'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. And I felt bad for him because he's seeing her, do her thing. He's happy, he's proud. And then she just fucking, yeah, folds like a pretzel. Her bones are sticking out. Like, I had to look away at that little part because once I saw that bone protrude from her leg, no, 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 we don't fuck with stuff like that here.
Yeah, you can understand a little bit, like, why Peter would lose his mind by the end of this thing. I mean, he does go way off the deep end to the point where I'm like, "Dude, you're way too comfortable. You've turned into a full-on slasher villain. You're holding a
Mhm.
knife, chasing a woman." It's kind of funny. I wonder if that's kind of like a little joke or nod towards the fact that this is a series without a slasher mascot or a slasher villain that you can see. They,
Mhm.
for a second, create like a slasher villain in Peter, but yeah, that's such a horrible thing to have to witness. But I think that that's kind of why this movie is a bit stronger for me too. Even though the characters aren't quite as good or developed, I guess I'd say, as the 2 leads in number 3, they make you care about the characters. Not all of them are so unlikable like in the last movie. This one only has, like, maybe 1 unlikable guy. Like, the actor who plays Dennis, when he showed up, I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be an asshole." And even he was pretty likable. They're like boss's boss. Olivia, when I saw, like, stereotypical hot girl, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna be unlikable," but I think she's pretty likable too. She just has a weird beef with Candace because for some reason, some women just like to hate each other, it seems, you know? But, I got an example of that in real life today, and I was like, "Man, some women just hate they like to tear down other women, and I don't get it."
Please elaborate that. I need to know this now.
Okay, I guess I could say it. So there was an ad that had Jennifer Lawrence on it, and somebody I was with a couple women, and like someone who I was with was like, Jennifer Lawrence, who does she think she is, going away for so long and coming back like we're supposed to care? It's like, damn, she won an Oscar and decided to take a break. Like, what is that vicious? Like, why do you just want to tear her down? What did she do? Just being a successful woman, I was like, where did that hate come from? It seemed like you just wanted to tear her down, you know?
I won't lie, I have fallen victim in that category too. And funnier thing is that I saw a meme like a long ass time ago, and it was like, women hate on each other for no reason. Like, there's and then it just cuts to like this girl talking to someone else, like, look at this bitch eating chips like she owns the place in here. And I'm like, why is that so valid though?
Yeah, I actually had this conversation with my girlfriend, and I won't speak for her, but she pointed to the patriarchy as the reason for that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I noticed a couple times. Like Celine Song, that's a new like female director, and her past 2 movies, Past Lives and The Materialist, movies that like I've loved. I've noticed like women particularly have been super vicious and like have been specifically going for Celine Song as a person and as a writer. And I was just like, where is this viciousness coming from? Shouldn't you wanna, like, raise her up? She's like, "Oh, there's not that many female filmmakers. Shouldn't we want more female filmmakers?"
It's because women are mean. That's why.
I know maybe it's I feel like I'm sounding like such an asshole right now, and it just I know that guys have it in them too, but yeah, it's just something I've kind of noticed where I'm like, why are we tearing down these women? Like, aren't there other people we can be tearing down who are much worse, who have done worse things?
Yeah, and even I've seen this on TV a lot, and like I do think it's true too, where if you have guys like playing jokes on each other or talking shit to each other, like they can keep it just playful and they can be perfectly fine after. But if women do it, they start taking it personally after a while, and that is also very true.
And, I'd be lying if I didn't admit I take things pretty personally too, so I'm in that boat. Just
Same.
to maybe level the playing field a little bit, but anyway, so speaking of terrible people, there's a character, I don't know what his name is, I just have him as asshole unbearable guy in my notes, but he's like the womanizing guy. He goes in, he like is going through the desks of, I think, some of the deceased like coworkers, and he takes a massage coupon from one of their desks and goes
Mhm.
to get a massage, and is just like being awful to these women at this place. And then he gets, have you had acupuncture actually?
I have actually, like, not too long ago.
It's not that bad, right? I haven't had it done, but it's not painful, right?
It's not really painful. I obviously was nervous because I was like, "Damn, that's gonna be a bunch of needles, like, in my body." But, the woman who did it, she was explaining it all, and when she would, puncture my skin, she did it super quick. It just felt strange after because she put like a red LED lamp on me and left me there for like maybe I'd say like 10-15 minutes, and she's like, just relax. And at first I freaked out because I had to call her back. The lamp was like burning my legs, and because I was where I was focusing on, because I was dealing with some knee pain. And she just adjusted it for me. But after a few moments, I just felt like my body just kinda, like, sinking into the bed. I'm like, "Is this normal? Is this how I'm supposed to feel?" So, it's an interesting experience. I would go back for it because I felt, like, pretty limber after, but yeah, it's not as painful as I anticipated.
I think I'm eventually gonna have acupuncture done. It seems interesting enough, but I mean, I talked about this on a couple other episodes. These movies haven't really made me afraid of doing any of the things that cause the death in these situations. And but this one does make me a bit afraid of everything. Like the bridge thing is pretty terrifying. I do think that I'm gonna think about this movie the more I every time I go over a bridge. The gymnastics thing, I already had a fear, but I'm just gonna be thinking about it even more every time I watch the gymnastics. And God, it just, I mean, I'm never gonna trust a massage table that seems rickety. Like, if it seems slightly rickety, I'm gonna be like, all right, do you have tools? I will tighten this thing up if need be, because I'm not gonna risk falling on my face, especially getting acupuncture. But without giving this guy too much lip service, I'd love to see him go. Love to see the Buddha fall on his face. I mean, what did
Oh
you think of the
my
racist womanizer?
god. He was Oh my god, I was just waiting for him to die. Like, even for him to have the nerve to be talking on the phone to a girl he was like just flirting with, and then hanging up with her to flirt with the receptionist, and then just assume that she was going to be doing a service on him, and then be such an asshole to the actual service provider, um, who was doing, what is it called when they break all the bones, crack all your bones? What is that called?
Chiropractor?
Yeah, that. She's doing all that to him, and I'm like, "Oh my god, is that how he's gonna die? Like, she's just gonna, like, break his spine or something?" I was waiting for
Yeah.
that to be how he met his demise, but, yeah, for him to just, like, fall over onto all those needles. I didn't wanna look at that part, but it was just like, "Okay, seriously? Come on now." That's a little overstretching there, and then, yeah, once the Buddha fell on him, I'm like, Well, you deserved it, but that was kind of a lame kill in my eyes.
I did like the fake out a little bit when he falls off the table and it's like, okay, did the needles go through him and kill him? Did he die in that impact somehow? And there's a camera. It's like a zoom on him and then he like wakes up, almost played as like a little bit of a jump. And I had a thought in that moment. I was like, this is at the very least a really competently directed movie. The the guy knew where to put the camera and he put it in kind of interesting places, I guess. But yeah, I was just waiting for this guy to die. It was pretty hard to watch him pull the needle out of his chest where his heart would
Yeah.
be. I was like, God, did
Mhm.
that puncture your heart? Leave it in, dude, or take it out. I don't know what to do. Why are you asking me? I'm not a doctor. Um
Supposed to leave
it
them in until you can get actual medical attention.
oh man. It was so well done. Also, the fire going in the background, I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm glad this guy didn't get any kind of a happy ending. Just it was really bothering me the whole time he was at that front desk and he was just like being like, I want someone with a happy ending and all that. And then the lady was walking in front of him and he's like, oh, walk a little slower or whatever. I don't remember what he said, but I was just like, oh my God. Like, guys, this is too much. You can make an unlikable character, but you're putting a little bit too much paprika on the sandwich, to steal a term from a different podcast.
I
It's
like
just
that.
too much. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
use
credit
that.
to Blank Check Podcast. They came up
I
with
knew
that
it.
one.
I knew it. I knew it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to use that now. But yeah, because while he's following the receptionist and he's like, just like catcalling her essentially, another woman walks by and then he like full on puts his attention on this girl and it's like, dude, chill the fuck out. We know like your main goal is to get your wiener wet right now, but like, come on, relax, you know, just get ready to die.
He has energy of someone who's never actually gotten laid before. I like that thought just came into my mind. I was like, Is this guy a virgin actually?" I mean, that like spa scene is somewhat reminiscent of like the 40-year-old virgin spa scene, maybe, I guess, who knows? Maybe this movie is paying homages. The Lost World, Jurassic Park, 40-year-old virgin, two iconic movies maybe. But
Maybe.
yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, on to the next one. Did you have anything else to say about that guy?
No, I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, same here. Good riddance. And I like that we haven't even named him as far as I know.
I think his name was.
Mm, maybe I'll bleep that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe he
just bleep
doesn't.
it. No one needs to know. He wasn't memorable.
But so then the next scene is their Tony Todd interaction. We already talked about that one. It is weird that he does know that. I don't know if I said this already, that and I apologize if I did. But it is weird that he already knows that if you take somebody's life, you get their extra time. It's like, how do you know that? Have you taken somebody's life before, Tony Todd? Where are you getting your information from? And
Mhm.
one thing I did really enjoy about this movie too, there's no point where anybody looks up Flight 180 and any past events. And I mean,
Right.
there's a reason for that, but I noticed that at one point. And then also, no, these characters are talking about Paris a lot for some reason. I don't know if that means anything, but they keep talking about going to Paris. I don't know if you caught that the 700 times they
Yeah, I was
mention it.
like, what is with Paris in these films? Like, me personally, I would not want to go. Well, that's a lie. You got the catacombs out there. But they were really like talking about that through these films. So it's like, damn, okay. And I didn't really realize why until they finally showed why. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
I didn't either. I had heard, so we're already in the spoilers. I won't give away the full ending, but I had heard that this movie was a prequel. Not this one. I heard one of them was a prequel. And I was like, all right, which one? And then when I was watching this for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, this is the one. And then rewatching it for the podcast, I thought, like, they do say Paris a shitload in this movie. It's like kind of obvious. Like they're dangling it right in front of your face, much like another movie we covered on this podcast that I was about to spoil, but I won't, just in case people haven't seen it. But that might be a hint. Yeah, so basically that takes us to Olivia's death with the LASIK procedure. This I might actually not get LASIK after watching this. This was absolutely horrifying. And I mean, it's not even the laser that kills her. They just torture her for nothing. Offer her to fall out a window. I felt so bad. I was like, Olivia, you were the best we ever had. You and, your quote unquote baby fat. I hated to see her go. I thought she was the hero of this. I thought it was going to be a real Sigourney Weaver in Aliens where everybody dies except for her. And I suppose for a fucking over 30, 40-year-old movie, however old Alien is. But
Right.
I thought, Olivia, we were going to be riding with her to the end and she was going to survive and be the one of two survivors in the franchise. And everything was going to be looking up Olivia. But no, she fell out of a easily breakable window.
Yeah, that whole setup, I was like, "Damn, we're gonna focus on eyeballs here." Like, okay, that is a legitimate fear. Like, my siblings, other people I know, they were always freaked out when, I would put my contacts in or I would suggest for them to get contacts. And they're like, no, because I don't want to touch my eye. Like, I'm afraid to do that, whatever. Some of them have been able to conquer that fear. And like, even I've been trying to look up like eye procedures because I'm tired of wearing my contacts and my glasses. So, yeah, watching that, I'm like, crap, what are we going to see here? So, just that tool alone to keep her eyelids open, and then you see
Mhm.
her eye tearing up and it's just like moving around. Oh, that made me freak out so bad. I know I said earlier, like, I had to pull away or look away for some of the scenes, but like this one, I did not watch. I was just like looking at it from my peripheral because I couldn't handle that. So I looked back and it was at the point where like the laser was like just on her hand or on her face. I'm like, fuck, man, this bitch is gonna die from getting blinded by this damn laser. And then yeah, she fucking just falls out a window. Oh my god, she had it rough. I'm not gonna lie, she had it rough.
Yeah, that the eye shit was so hard to watch. I was actually on my lunch break at work was watching a recap video in my car while I was eating a sandwich. And when the eye stuff, a lot of the stuff, I was like, oh, this one's harder to watch while eating. And then when the LASIK stuff started happening, I was like, I'm not going to watch this while I'm eating right now. And
Smart man.
yeah, I turned it off. It was very upsetting and gross. The idea of a laser going into the eye that you can't stop, and her eye was being pried open. It felt very Clockwork Orange to me. The scene is also another example of water using electricity. And also, this doctor is just so irresponsible. Like, leaving her hooked up to that machine and then walking out of the
Right?
room. It's like
Right? That
this.
was trash.
Yeah, this guy should lose his license and be sued for malpractice if possible. And the final like nail to the coffin, the little button the scene ends on is Olivia's good eye pops out of her skull and after she like falls out the window onto a car, the eye rolls towards the screen. I think this one must have had a 3D gimmick, but it luckily doesn't ruin all of the kills like the last one did. but the eye rolls towards the screen and then a car runs over it. I was like, "Oh, that's gross."
They always gotta show a car running over someone or something.
Yeah, that eye was ugh. The eye stuff is just a lot. But yeah, this scene is memorably disgusting, and it sucked that it happened to someone as wonderful and perfect as Olivia was.
She had, like, 4 lines in here.
And those lines were masterful. She should have gotten nominated and for an Oscar and won like Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. I think that's the movie where he delivers that iconic monologue. I could be wrong, listeners. Don't at me. Never write into me. I won't respond.
Damn. So if they wanna get to know you,
I'm
you
kidding.
won't respond to them? Wow. Alright, guys, you
I'm
finally heard him. You heard the truth here. You're always
no,
throwing me under the bus. Now it's your turn.
no, don't. If you correct me, I won't respond.
It's all
No, I'm
good. We're here
kidding.
for fun, guys. We're here for fun.
I'll feel embarrassed and I'll probably mention it on the podcast and tell everybody I was wrong and try to make a correction immediately.
It's okay. We'll both cry in our own corners when they correct us because it's bound to happen.
I'll be like, "Why don't they like me?"
I know, shit, like guys, just don't forget, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify,
Yeah, leave us a
and
5-star
then
review. Tell us that you like us.
that we're doing something right here, that you guys look forward to listening to your favorite horror movie podcast.
Yeah, we're your favorite for a reason. We have that title not just because I decided to say it one episode.
Someone, like, just telepathically put it in your head, so that is why.
Yeah, but so so far in the movie, where I'm sitting at right now, at least from reading my notes, is that every death sequence is like top tier for the franchise, I think, so far. Like, this is cooking with gas right now. I'm smelling bacon and it's smelling good. I'm liking what this Final Destination's cooking. It's something with bacon, apparently. I mean, you hate these death sequences. You're going to tell me these are bad? What's going on?
I mean, some of
Did
them
you watch this on a
I
bad day or something? I'm
I mean, I did watch it while I was sick, so that could also be why, and I
good point.
also I'm just ready for fucking Bloodlines again. I just wanna revisit that so damn bad. I shoulda saw it twice when I was in theaters, but I only saw it once. But, yeah, the concept of some of these kill scenes in here are okay. The bridge, yes. The eyeball scene, yes. Everything else doesn't work. Like, it's not to the point where I'm getting paranoid about that. Like, at least with the first one, the second one, I'm walking around after watching it and feeling pretty paranoid about every single thing I do or whatever I touch, whatever. This
You're
one,
looking at water differently. You're like, that water's moving
exactly.
so slow towards something. I don't know what. And
Exactly.
then
Like,
you
that
put a
water is
towel in front
too
of it.
clear. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
this one doesn't work. It doesn't have that, like, scare tactic that all the other ones had. So, I mean, if you wanna give this movie all the praise in the world, by all means, do whatever floats your little boat, Nick.
I wonder how other people really feel about this one. I don't know. But yeah, I'm riding high. The next couple of deaths, like the movie starts to peter out a little bit. We got Nathan accidentally killing this guy named Roy, I think. They get in an argument about Nathan cutting Roy's hours, and Nathan's like, everybody's hours got cut. There's an investigation or whatever going on. And a hook drops. I mean, Nathan is trying to save Roy, but apparently he killed Roy. But a hook drops, knocks out like a part of the platform that they're on. Roy falls to his death holding the hook, and the hook, like, he lands to where the hook stabs up through the bottom of his jaw, through his head. It's a pretty fucked up way to go. It sounds awful just imagining that. I feel like you would feel it going through your jaw before you died. It's pretty horrific, but you don't really see it happen, though. You see the aftermath. But this is the first real playing with the format that the movie does. Nathan essentially kills him. Peter's like, "Did you kill him? Did you?" Like, Peter's already a fucking psycho at this point. It's like, "Peter, what is happening to you right now? Like, go see a therapist." But at least he's being affected by the deaths, unlike most of the other movies, if not all of the other movies except for 3. But yeah, then Roy or Nathan basically has the rest of Roy's lifespan. I think it's an okay concept. I don't love it. I don't really need it in the movie, but it makes for a funny bit at the end that we'll get into.
That one, no, it just also didn't work for me. Like seeing the aftermath of it, I was like, "Oh shit," it went through like his jaw, like it's basically coming out of his mouth. Okay. Um the stupid which Saw movie was it when the guy was like lying that he was in a jigsaw trap and claimed that he had to like put hooks in his chest or something to climb up and, you know, release himself? I don't remember which one that was, but
I don't either, but I know it sounds familiar. I've seen almost all of the Saw movies, but I can't place which one that was.
yeah, that one I can't remember, but even though knowing that guy was lying, that he was in that trap, knowing he was going to have to do some type of trap like that at the end, that freaked me out more than this kill in here.
That makes me kind of want to see the Saw sequence that you're talking about and see how I feel about that. But I would imagine that that sequence in Saw was probably way more visually interesting. I think Saw is known for. I'd say Saw probably has more visually interesting kills all around in their series than the Final Destination series, especially considering there's one entry in this series with just like mostly, if not all, stinkers when it comes to the kills they have to offer. But yeah, that kill was okay, kind of just fine. More so upsetting, if anything. And then Dennis gets like a wrench or something to the head. They're all like, "Who's next? Who's next?" And there's a fucking like belt sander or something going off,
Mhm.
and it shoots a wrench. Yeah, through Dennis's head, and it's like he was next. Oh my god! And then we're down to yeah, what? Just the final three: Peter, Sam, and Molly. I think.
Yeah, so when, Sam and Molly, they're trying to, rekindle their relationship and he wants her to go with him to Paris when he takes his internship. You're like, "Okay, well, you're getting like their little like cute moment whatever." But then Peter comes in and this part I thought it was copying part 3 a little too much where Ian was going after Wendy and just like saying like, "Hey, how do we start this shit off?" Like, and then realizing he causes her death and he's doing it out of revenge for his girlfriend who got killed and he blamed Wendy for that. So now with this, Peter's just like questioning them and saying like, we don't deserve to die. Like, all these people don't deserve to die. Candace didn't deserve to die, but Molly, why do you deserve to live? I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And then, yeah, is trying to like come out and kill her. Like, I get it, dude. You're crushed by your girl not being alive anymore, but what the fuck are you doing here?
So a couple things you mentioned. I actually didn't pick up that it was doing the same thing that they did in 3. That's a good point. I feel like this executes it a bit better. I like Peter more than I liked Ian, and I liked the gymnastics girl more than I liked Aaron. I think those were their names, Ian and Aaron. But uh
MCR and misery business. Yeah.
yes, MCR and Misery Business, of course. Um they I like Peter and the intern girl, gymnastics girl, a bit more than those 2 characters. And then you had mentioned, them rekindling their love. I find it kind of cute that the reason they're going through a rough patch is because she wants him to live out his dreams as a chef in Paris. It's like, "Oh, I thought you guys were going through, like, turmoil, like, maybe, like, somebody
Right.
cheated." It's like, that's
Yeah,
so
something.
fixable, like, just
Mhm.
have a conversation, and, I mean, they do, and it's pretty nice, I'd say. Okay, so what comes next?
No, he's Peter's chasing Molly around in the kitchen, and there's, like, that whole kitchen scene where he's even trying to, like I think he tried to shoot at Sam or something. Sam fell and, like, a knife was spinning and fell, but it didn't even fall on him. It just, like, barely
Mhm.
missed him, and Peter just walks past like, "Oh, I guess it's not your time to die," or whatever he says.
The part one thing I didn't pick up on, actually, was the fact that Molly didn't die in the opening, and I was kind of confused. I was like, "Wait, why won't Peter kill Sam, but he'll kill Molly?" And then he was like, "Death doesn't want you, death wants Sam." And I was like, "Oh, I just completely missed that she died in the intro." I mean, was that made obvious? Did you notice that she didn't die in the intro?
I did because once they showed Sam dying, I was like, "Oh, well, they all didn't die. That girl didn't die." So, I wonder if that's gonna play, like, a key element later on in the film. Um, yeah, I picked up on it, but I don't like how they tried to execute, like, Peter trying to kill her off because of that whole thing.
Yeah, Peter turns into a full-on psycho. It's, like, weird that he's like, "I can kill somebody that I know," but he can't kill, like, a homeless person or something, and he ends up killing Courtney B. Vance, his detective character,
Mm.
at one point, and then I was like, "Okay, good, you can stop this," and then he's like, "You witnessed me kill a federal agent." It's like, "Okay, dude, come on." I'm sure, like, you're gonna have way more on your hands when you kill them, maybe. I don't know. It's just it seems messy. Quit while you're ahead, dude, but he decides to double down. He's like, "I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm a murderer now. I'm a villain." And I while I didn't fully love it, I do feel like it's a stronger ending than some of these Final Destination movies that have had. I think it's stronger than the first one, the, like, chaos of the first one, and I think it's a bit stronger. Like, I mean, Aaron or Ian doesn't really do anything, like, memorable. We've talked about that in Final Destination 3, but he doesn't really get a serviceable ending, and Peter at least gets moments that are something, I guess.
Yeah, with Peter, I will give him credit, like, at least you see him down spiraling, and he probably feels a lot of guilt too, just because, like, damn, like, I was keeping our relationship hidden, and now she's dead, so feeling all of that guilt and then just, like, questioning what the fuck is going on with, everything else right now, and why is it that this guy's girl gets to live but mine's didn't. Yeah, he is a better character than Ian, but I don't know, I still like Ian and Aaron.
No, I get you, and it's not even more so. Well, maybe he is a better character than Ian. I don't know. My girlfriend kept calling him Dave Franco the whole time we were watching
Oh
it.
my god, right?
Yeah, so maybe he has that going for him too. It's like he looks like a charismatic actor, even though I must say, I think I'm out on the Dave Franco train. I saw that movie Together, and I know people love that movie, but God, that movie did not work for me at all. People are like, it's so gross. I was like, no, it's not that gross. And I'm just, Dave Franco was like sweaty, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm not loving it. Alison Brie, too, from Scream 4, I think it was. Yeah, Scream 4 was in it, and yeah, I didn't like that movie that much. So far, I guess that was my together corner. But yeah, so I think I'm a little out on Dave Franco, and but yeah, he did have Franco vibes. My girlfriend kept being like, "He's one of the Francos. Which of the 3 Francos is he?" And I was like, "I think there's only 2 Francos.
No,
Maybe there's a third."
literally, because I was watching this, I'm like, "That straight up looks like fucking Dave Franco," so yeah, no, I agree with her 100% on that.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that going for him, whereas Ian looks like My Chemical Romance. Yeah, Sam eventually he ends up killing Peter, I don't even remember how he kills Peter, do you? I know there was, like, a gun that was boiling, but no, that shoots and doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah, I can't even remember how that ended up happening. Well, the gun I know how that, but, like, I don't remember how Peter dies.
Yeah, so somehow Sam kills Peter. Sorry to the list. I mean, you guys have seen it. You know how it happened. Or maybe you all forgot. Maybe we've all collectively forgotten how Sam kills Peter, and that's the great mystery of this world is how did Sam kill Peter in Final Destination 5? We'll be asking ourselves that for the next several years, I'm pretty sure.
Probably, while we rethink and reflect on Child's Play 3. Or not
Mhm.
Child's Play 3,
The
Seed of Chucky, sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like we try not to think about
Yeah,
Child's Play
yeah.
3.
I don't
Seed
know
of
why I
Chucky.
said Child's Play 3.
I mean, we did commit to Seed of Chucky, having an annual Seed of Chucky episode. I
Wait,
think we
what?
should
When
we
did we
committed to that,
agree?
I'm pretty
When?
sure we did on the episode. We signed a
When
blood
the
oath,
fuck
a
did
blood
we
contract. It was like
Y'all
the
can't
Losers
see
Club
this.
in the Andy Muschietti It movie.
Can't see this, but I just gave it Nick, like, a horrendous look, like, we did not agree to that.
I think we did. We should have a live event where it's Seed of Chucky rehashed, and we get the listeners, the attendees in on the debate.
Okay, if we can get a pool of people to actually, like, want that, I'll be open to considering it. So, we'll see. We'll see if we get, like, the audience for it.
Yeah, it would be in the Chicagoland area. So our Chicago listeners, follow us on Instagram at morbid_curiosities_pod and let us know if that's something you'd be interested in attending. And, maybe we'll try to get it set up, some type of Seed of Chucky live event. We'll do it every year. It'll be Seed of Chucky Fest. And
Seed of
we'll just
Chucky
talk about
Fest.
Seed of Chucky. We'll get live entertainment. It'll all be
Ooh,
dedicated to Seed of Chucky.
dude. That's actually okay, let me not get excited for that now. Anyway, back to this.
Seed of Chucky, seed
Oh
of
my
Chucky.
god.
We're bringing it back. Next week on the podcast, we'll be discussing Seed of Chucky again. But yeah, so anyway, not to keep dragging this out. 2 weeks later passes. There's another time jump. This franchise just fucking loves time jumps, you know? It can't just be the next day or whatever. It's always a couple weeks, and they're like, we're in the clear. Death took a vacation or something. But so then Sam is off on his way to Paris. He's on a plane, and you're like, ooh, like he's in the clear. He made it. Like he's one of the only other people to get out, right? I mean, that's what you were thinking. Nothing suspicious. And then the movie just ends here, right? I didn't keep going. I turned it off after that. I was like, he seems safe to me.
I was about to turn it off.
They're on the plane, and basically you see the events of the first Final Destination movie start to play out, and then it's revealed that it's been a prequel the whole time. That's why nobody bothered looking up Flight 180 this whole
True.
time. What did you think about that reveal? Did it work for you at all?
I thought I was mixed about it because I was like, I didn't know that this was supposed to be a prequel. So I was like, oh, well, no wonder why no one started talking about the 180 shit, like, or made all those connections with this because they were on the same plane. That was kind of cool how they, meshed that all together. I don't know, just seeing the difference in film quality, I was like, damn, that's so noticeable to the point where it was bad.
Yeah, the movies definitely have completely different visual styles. I mean, they were made by different filmmakers, but I I enjoyed the tie-in. I enjoyed the wraparound, and it kind of keeps the trend going, as we'll see without giving away the next one. It plays with like the idea of okay, these don't have to be a linear narrative. We can play with time and the order of events, and I kind of appreciated that. Then right after, so I mean, this is like you don't really see many horror or many franchises in general where your, like, lead gets burnt alive at the very end of it. I thought that was pretty fucking wild, but then it cuts to Nathan alive and well. He made it out. He's at this, like, memorial, like, get together for Roy, the employee who died, and someone comes up to him and is like, "Yeah, man, don't worry about killing him. He had, like, a tumor in his head. He was gonna die any day now." And then Nathan's like, "Oh, any day now?" And, one of the jet engines falls from the ceiling of the bar and lands and crushes him, and that's the note we go out on, and I thought that was pretty entertaining. I'm like, "Okay," like, yeah, actually, now that I say that, I might take that back. I kinda wish somebody would make it out. It's like, does everybody have to die? Like, nobody can escape death. I know that's the point, but it's like, come on. We just he couldn't get away. Like, he couldn't give anybody a victory here.
No, these movies are supposed to make you feel like fuck. Everything is hopeless at this point.
Other movies do that a bit better though. Like these movies aren't that bleak. They're kind of like silly, and then they just end on like a bummer note. Even though this it's supposed to be comical, but I was just like, come on, I wanted somebody to finally make it out. The movie doesn't really give you that. These movies don't give you that really.
I feel like that works in its favor because if someone makes it out, I feel like there's going to be like all the little theories. Okay, well, why did they make it out and how are they going to die? Because everyone who seemed to have made it out at one point did die at some point, except Kimberly. So, and the cop that she was with too.
Yeah, and I mean, they don't even mention what happened to the cop. So he could have somehow not made it out of death's grip. These movies just don't let you get the satisfaction or any catharsis or release. It just, I don't know. I wonder how these ones would have played in theaters. Bloodlines is the only one I've actually gotten the fortune of watching in theaters, and it played really well for an audience. This one came out in 2011. Did you see it in theaters?
Mm-mm. I think for the podcast was for or the first time that I watched this one.
It is pretty crazy that there was a 14-year gap between Final Destination 5 and Final Destination Bloodlines. But I don't think we're going to see that big of a gap between 6 and 7 because Bloodlines made all the money. I mean, horror in general has done really good this year. Bloodlines was successful, I think, 28 years. It at least broke even. I think it's gonna work out well for those. I think after the second one comes out, they're gonna greenlight the third. Weapons way overperformed. I thought Freakier Friday was gonna beat out that one on my summer movie wager, and Weapons cracked the top 10 of the summer. Megan, I can't really speak to that, but it's been a good year for horror.
Any final thoughts on Final Destination 5?
Final Destination 5, more like Final Destination 5 out of 5 masterpiece.
Oh my
Nah,
god.
it's not a masterpiece, and when I'm singing these movies' praises, I'm comparing them to, like, the movies within the franchise. I mean, if I'm gonna talk about, like if I were to rank the horror franchises, Final Destination would be pretty low on the list, but talking about them within, the context of each other, I'm having a lot of fun, and I thought this one was great in comparison to, like, everything we've gotten so far. I feel like aside from the 4th entry in this franchise, it's been a upward climb, and, I mean, we're gonna see how we feel about Bloodlines. If you've been listening to this podcast, past episodes, you already know our thoughts on Bloodlines since we seen that one in theaters and reported back to you after we saw it, but, yeah, I enjoyed this one. I've had way more fun in this season than I expected to, and we were talking about it a bit off mic. I'm so excited for Bloodlines. I think that episode is I mean, we won't plan to go longer on that one, but I feel like there's going to be a lot to really get into and gush over in that movie. But you got any final thoughts on the whole shindig that was Final Destination 5? FD5, as we say in the text threads?
I'm just glad that I don't have to watch it again or revisit part 4 ever again. And yeah, I'm super hyped to cover Bloodlines. I haven't watched it since I watched it in theaters, so I'm excited to just revisit that and, dissect it more for here. And yeah, everyone just stay tuned for that.
We've been Morbid Curiosities.
Let's fucking go. Okay, ready.
All right. I should really just write down this intro. So like
I know.
on a napkin or something.
Then when we're all famous, we can frame it like this was our original intro.